Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event. Fight fans worldwide, you tuned into the #1 undisputed boxing podcast today. This is the Boxing Breakdown. Now, your heavy-handed, hard-hitting host, Mark Roxy.
What's up, what's up, what's up? And welcome to another edition of the Boxing Breakdown. This is Mark Roxy, and I am your host. I am delighted to be here. What's up, what's up, what's up? I'm here with my partner in crime, Mr. Harold Hunt. What's up, Harold?
What's up, man? How you doing, man? How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you.
I'm good, man. It's been a long, crazy, busy day. But I'm here and I'm excited because we got a lot of boxing to chop up. So, Harold, let's get into this thing, right? Let's fans out there and friends listening to the Boxing Breakdown, we have a great show for you. And we're going to start it off talking a little bit about Bivol versus Beterbiev. So, Harold, what you got?
Well, as you know, we all been waiting for Arthur Beterbiev to have his opportunity to unify his belts. He's got 3, but everyone was calling for the Bivol fight. So we're excited about that. But the caveat here is the money that was put up by the overseas people, Saudi Arabia, is tremendous. It's to a point where they can have any fight they want because they can simply afford it.
Yeah.
Any fighter at any rate would take that kind of money. And that's just the financial side of it, Mark. But we still have to talk about the in-ring side. But just because they put it together with sheer financial power, Mark.
Oh, they have so much money over there, Harold. I don't know where they get, the level of money they got. Well, we know where they get it from, but, it's just incredible how much money they're throwing at these fights over there.
And the best part about it now, these fights will be made because the only stumbling block was, I don't want to go to purse bid. It's not enough money. I can't handle my expenses like I need to. Carte blanche.
Yeah, exactly. Carte blanche. I mean, hey, these are 2 amazing fighters. This fight is actually, I think it's one of the more highly anticipated fights of all the fights that are on the horizon. So, I'm looking here at the stats and stuff, and this looks like it's going to be a really good fight. And it is brought to you, I believe, by Mr. Eddie Hearn, right? And DAZN,
Yes.
Matchroom Boxing. So yeah, it's excellent.
So let's break it down in the ring. Let's break it down in the ring, Mark. Okay, I'll take Bivol, and then you can take Beterbiev. I mean, just to explain. Okay, Bivol obviously has a good, slick style, and he was able to beat Canelo. And now I don't want to bring Canelo in it, but Canelo's style is somewhat similar to Beterbiev, somewhat similar, and he was able to handle it with his movement and the way he moves around the ring. And he's never been beaten. So I think this will be good for him just because Beterbiev is going to be coming to him and he'll be able to apply what he does very well. Lots of knockouts, lots of clean punching and movement to possibly control the fight. That's just on what I see from Bivol. He could possibly be victorious. Now, Mark, go with Arthur.
No, I mean Arthur Beterbiev is he's a puncher. He's a very, very strong competitor. He's got knockout power in both hands, and he does have his way around the ring. He has good ankles, good level changes. I mean, I don't know that there's much I can say about him other than he's willing to pay the ultimate price. I mean, I'm just, this is going to be a great fight. I think that if the 2 fighters, out of the 2 fighters, I think that Bivol is a more technical fighter. He's a little bit more rangier, but Better Beef is how can I say it? He's just gonna stand right in front of you in a pocket, and he's gonna fight you. He's gonna fight you until either he falls or you fall. Either he's cut or you're cut, and he's just he'll make it tough too. You might get hit with a couple of elbows. You might get a couple of headbutts. He's coming. So it
Yes.
makes for a compelling boxing, and that's like if you want to go see a great fight. I mean, that's why these guys are promoting this fight over there, and it's going to sell out because it's one of the best, one of the most
Oh
highly
yeah.
anticipated fights of all the fights that are going down in the next year.
I agree. He's been cut before. Arthur's been cut before, and this kind of turns him up.
Oh yeah,
So he's not even going to be phased by any type of situation that happens in the ring just because he's already come to where his eye was totally full with blood. He couldn't see, and he had to turn the guy off, and he was able to do that. But yet, as you said, Mark, this guy, like many others, eats, drinking, and fights boxing or lives boxing or however the term goes. Yeah. But he is genuinely like that. Now, he had the problem with his jaw where they pulled the tooth and it got infected and he was out for a while. But when you're off like that, you really tend to get mentally strong. Although he was already physical strong, but his last fight, he looked great and he moved well and what have you. But I saw a little tad of vulnerability.
Really?
Well, maybe because of the layoff. But he was still sharp.
Fighter. He's always been vulnerable. I mean, I don't think what makes Better Beef so interesting to watch is that he's willing to take chances. He's willing to take chances in the pocket, and he has a mean overhand right. His right hand, he's got power underneath on the right side. He's got power over the top. He throws it as like a loopy shot right above the guard. Long rangey fighters, he has a way of creeping over to the right side and getting
dropping that on him.
Better Beef is a good fighter. I mean,
he's withering. He's withering it in his approach. It's just I've watched maybe 10 of his fights. This is the first time I kind of saw him kind of. He was more methodical than not robotic. That's not a good word. That's a relentless. He just seems to be more concentrating on a certain type of attack, whereas before it was just I'm just going to wear you down. So if that means anything, Bivol looked great in his last fight. His last two fights, he looks great. He looks like he's on top of his game.
I'm trying to get a hold of the date of that fight. That fight is going to be a great fight, but I can't. What is the date of that fight?
We're looking at, what was it? March. March. It was March, if I remember correctly. It was March, and that fight is scheduled to be the undercard is supposed to be spectacular. Everybody's figuring out how they want to do that. Yeah. But I can't say if Bivol will go the distance, or he'll either go the distance and win, or he won't go the distance. That's all I can really say.
Well, I'll tell you.
What's your thoughts?
I think the odds are gonna. The odds, if you're a betting person, and there's a lot of people who are going to bet on this fight in a big way. I think that fight's set for like June 1st, right? So we got a ways to go before we get.
One of them was,
and it's in Saudi Arabia, I believe. But that particular fight, I think it could go either way. Really, I think I will tend to lean a little bit to Bivol. I'll go a little bit more in Bivol's favor, only because he has the reach. He's coming off of a relatively, big win against Canelo. I mean, that's not his last fight, but that was a major fight for him. And his last fight, he didn't have such a great performance, I believe. And but I think he's got a lot to prove, and he's going to come to fight. And he's got the legs, he's got the reach, he's got a lot of advantages. But if we knew who was going to win, man, we'd be
on network TV or whatever. But I will say this: he looked good, even though he looked lackluster. He looked good. His fundamentals were sound. He
Yeah.
had his wind. He wasn't tired. He
Yeah.
stuck to game plans. I mean, no, it wasn't scintillating for the public, but
Yeah.
for people like us, we would see that he is still uh, very very tight with his work.
No. Listen, I think it's going to be a great fight. I think we have a ways to go. So, I mean, I'm more interested in what, hey, speaking of ways to go, what the heck happened to Fury? Let's get on to that. Because what actually
But this is a
happened?
question for you. Why
Uh,
would he be sparring that close to a fight with or without headgear? He had the headgear on. But why do you do that, Mark? I mean, I'm gonna give that to you, but for me, from my side, I just don't see why you would do that and take
well,
that risk.
I, I personally, any fighter that I train is not doing that. Like I'm not working with guys that if I know we're 3 weeks away from sparring, 4 weeks away from a fight. Excuse me, not sparring. 4 weeks away. There's just no way I'm gonna let the fighter fight without a headgear. It just doesn't work, and I don't know why he would do that. I don't know what would possess him to do that, except that he doesn't look, Harold. He doesn't need the money, right? Or maybe he does. I mean, who do I know? I'm not writing his checks. I don't know what he needs, but it seems to me like when you fight like that in sparring without a headgear, you're either hoping something's going to happen or you're just throwing caution to the wind. Either way, it's irresponsible, right? It's not just irresponsible for him as a fighter and for his payday and for his family and for the boxing fans, but it's also irresponsible for his team. He's got a team, and they all have to eat, and then the other team, the other side of the coin is that Alexander Usyk, right? He's got a team, he's got a family, he's got to eat. His team has to eat. The promoter has to eat, and it's just. It was scheduled for ESPN, I believe. It was a pay-per-view. But I mean, folks at ESPN have to eat. They have a tight schedule that they're on. It's just a lot of. There's a lot of things that ride on that. So you throw the darn headgear on, Harold. You just throw it on. You put it on. You got all of these responsibilities. You put the headgear on and you make it work, right? I don't know. What do you
Well, I
think?
thought he took it pretty seriously because he moved his camp away from his family to Saudi Arabia and had been there
Yeah,
what 3 months, 4 months. I mean, he was very serious about the training. I mean,
yeah,
he didn't have any excuses with his wife or his kids or whatever. He just dropped the kid. He went over there and he stayed over there and he fought. And I mean, he worked specifically on the fight. So I thought he was serious.
yeah.
Is that type of mistake a mistake or was it a warranted mistake? Now, when you say too much money, I can understand that. But then when you say that he's looking for something to happen, I've heard people say that too. So I don't know where to go with it other than the simple discipline of no sparring this close to a fight in such a manner. That's
Well,
all I can simple think of.
Well, yeah, and it's not really about what happened. It's not really about like what was he thinking. The fact is he wasn't thinking, and the fact is that when you're sparring a month out from your fight, you wear headgear. You put a headgear on because there's a lot of money that's at stake. It's that simple.
For
And if you don't,
everybody. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's just. I mean, it's common sense. But you know, I mean, if Tyson Fury were in front of me, I'd say the same thing to him. I would. I would say like, why would you not wear a headgear? I don't get it. Like, it's just too much money on the line. But these things we don't know. We don't know. Did he just not want to make the fight? Was the money not right? Was the circumstances right? Not right. Was his head not right? I mean, there's a lot of what ifs. Like, I mean, and
16
Tyson.
stitches. 11 stitches or 16 stitches, that's gone back and forth.
Yeah.
What picture, what eyes over the left eye or right eye?
I did a fight about.
This is who shot Kennedy. I mean, for real.
You remember that, Arrow? Remember that fight we did? That was a while back now, maybe a year ago.
In New Jersey.
Was it in New Jersey? No, I thought it was in Ohio.
Right. Don King. The Don King thing we did.
Yeah, and I had a fighter that was fighting.
And you stopped the cut.
I was with Michael Elijah Day. He and I were working together on that fighter. Really, really great guy, Samir Ahmed Hefni, and he fought Mac Truck that night. That's the fight, and that, he had about the same number of stitches at the end of that fight because he got cut in the 4th round, and I was hired in that night as a cut man to work.
You stopped it, and you stopped. I don't talk no so, and you stopped it.
You're a good man. I did stop it. I did help the kid, and he's a great fight. He's a great fighter, great guy. We had a blast. That we were out there for about a week, a little longer than a week, and we just had a great time. He's such a good human being, and Michael Elijah Day is one of the best to ever lace him up. For y'all who don't know who Michael Elijah Day is, you don't know boxing, but yeah. So I was working with him. Actually, Michael is the one who asked me to go out there and accompany him. It was an honor. He's a great guy. But that fight, the guy got cut, and the cut looked exactly like
Fury's cut. Fury's latest cut.
It must have been either an elbow or like a charge in with the head. It was either a charge in with the head or an elbow because of where it was located.
Right. And how and the length of it, right? And how it opened up, right?
Yeah, I think it was probably like one of those, like a little slash across the forehead or something, But anyway,
well, 3 months. 3 months, Mark. 3 months.
3 months.
So how's that affect the conditioning?
Well, he doesn't have to stop training. It's just going to make him in better condition if he continues to train. He can train and he can stay right back in his conditioning program that was leading him up to this fight. Because I think the next fight is like in May, sometime in May. I think it's May 18th is when that fight is, and yeah, I think he continues the routine. Tyson Fury is going to continue training. We're a couple months away from the fight, and yeah, I don't see why he would just stop training. I just don't. Okay. Speaking of stopping training, what's going on with Canelo? Is he training and getting ready for the Charlo fight?
Well, as you know, the whole preference of all of this is Bud. Now, Charlo and Canelo, number 2, has opportunity to fight Canelo, and providing Canelo wins, they're going to make a fight with Bud Crawford. And that's a whole other subject. But off the top, 2 Charlos get to cash in on Canelo's situation. As far as promotion is concerned,
yeah,
great stuff, right? The brother gets a chance to prove that he's the better brother, or he can take revenge for his brother, or he was the one who was supposed to fight him the first time, or his other brother was too small. So there's so many variables that people can sell that fight.
Hold on, for the fans, we're talking about Jermell Charlo, right?
Yes.
Jermell, right?
Big Charlo, as they call him.
Okay. So we're referring to Jermell as Big Charlo and Jamal as Little Charlo?
Yes.
Making sure, because people, I know I get confused all the time with the Charlo brothers because I'm like, who are you talking about? You talking about Jermell or Jamal?
Big Charlo.
Big Charlo. Okay, we'll go with Big Charlo.
Everyone knows who Big Charlo is. Which one Big Charlo is? But so he's at 168, and he's gonna deal with Canelo. All right. Now, do you think this is a warm-up fight for Canelo? It's a marketable fight, but it's a warm-up fight for him to fall into Bud. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, look, payday,
You want
payday.
payday. I know
It's
this. I know that.
it's
Whatever he
another
says.
payday for whoever fights him, man. If it, $45 million. Okay, so the last fight, right? Um, Charlo made $45 million for that night, right?
Yes.
Yeah, or the total earnings were $45 million. Comparative, Charlo uh, won't bag that. He didn't get that much money. Let's see, he got about 3 million. Okay, so he got about 3 million, along with 40% of the pay-per-view shares. So, so he probably estimated. I don't know. Let's see, $5 or $6 million.
All in.
If he's got 40%, yeah, probably $5 or $6 million. He made $5 or $6 million off that fight. That's pretty good, man, for 30 minutes of boxing. I don't know, you guys. 30 minutes of boxing, you make $6 million. What would you do with that, Harold?
Um,
Don't
so
ask.
many things. So
Yeah,
many things. But now the brother stands to make more simply because of the storyline.
right.
Agree?
Tell me. Tell us,
Well,
Walt.
I don't know exactly how much more, but this is a rebound. Some people say, "Oh, there's no way I'll see it. That's a horrible." But those same people will be paying to see that. And
Right,
like I said, a lot of people believe the bigger one should have been the one in the first place. So, and he's not going to be intimidated and this, that, and the other. He's coming off his own little mental thing,
right,
seriously mental thing that this could really get him straight financially and mentally and emotionally. So this is
right,
good for him to still get the opportunity because it was his it was, something that they were talking about for him. So I'm glad he gets the chance.
right. Well, I mean, I don't know because the last fight, right? The last fight that happened with Little Charlo, right? Little Charlo scored. That score was like 119 to 108. It wasn't really that close. 118 to 109 and 118 to 109. So Canelo landed a lot of punches, almost. I mean, a little bit more than twice as many punches as Little Charlo. So I don't know that it's going to be much different. I mean, what do you think? You think bigger Charlo? You think Jamal is better and stronger and more capable?
Yes, I think he'll stay in the pocket and fight with him. Whereas the small Charlo, he realized that he was in the wrong spot, the wrong place, and that he could possibly get clipped. So he just kind of stayed away from the situation. They had a gentleman's handshake. We'll just go the distance, and that's
Right,
it. And that he got knocked down or whatever, but he was cautious the whole way from round one. That was it. It was over.
right,
This brother, I believe, will stand in there and throw with him a little bit. And he'll take a knockdown or two and still try to be aggressive. I don't think he'll just give up the ghost and run around for 12 rounds. I don't think he'll do that.
right.
So I look for a little more competitive fight between the two.
When is that fight? Do you know when that fight is scheduled for?
You asked me for dates, dog. I should have them in front of me, but I analyze what's going on. But that is coming up shortly. We know not Bud. We know Canelo and Charlo have both been in camp already for this. Pre-camp.
Right.
I believe so. As we're going forward here, it's sometime this year before June, I believe. But I
Well,
can open it up and look at everything and find out. But
yeah,
for
no,
me, it's more of a opportunity for the Charlo name to continue to be in our consciousness. That's how I
yeah,
see it. I
yeah,
think that's
yeah,
good. I think it's good for them.
yeah. No, I mean, I'm trying to see when that fight's gonna be, man. I don't see it on my radar. On my schedule that I have, I don't see that fight. Um, yeah, I don't really see where it is.
So, but when that is confirmed in the date and the time and all,
Yeah,
that's going to be a great fight. I mean, now the undercard is going to be good, but you're going to have a lot of people who are going to talk a lot of negative stuff about that fight before it actually happens.
yeah,
But when it does happen, it will garner the proper
Well,
people
well, I
to
mean, the
pay
real
for it.
fight there is Crawford versus Canelo, man.
Right, but this is something that needs to be, I believe, is going to be seen, and I like to see it. I'm glad it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So,
No,
but it is a precursor. It is a precursor. We do know this.
yeah, I mean,
But do we want to talk about the Bud situation on it, or just leave it right here and go to our next topic? Because
yeah, I
Bud
mean,
is a big
I really,
factor in this.
well, we've got a lot to talk about. So, I mean, if you want to hit it a little bit, I'm happy to hit it a little bit. But I wanted to really get into the Conor Benn. Oh man,
Yes, let's do this. Let's do that.
Harold, the Conor Benn fight, man. Like, what, what was that? Just throw it.
Well,
What you want to talk about
okay.
with that?
He fought an undefeated fighter from the club level. Okay, and if you look at the run up to the fight, the club level fight, he was from Brooklyn, by way of Puerto Rico and another
Hey,
country. So
hey,
he really did really well with the press conference. He talked a lot of stuff and a lot of really bravado. But he got to the point where he may have been shook by such a big event, whereas Ben's kind of been to some big events before where he was the headliner or whatever. He was kind of shook, so he was kind of motor mouth. But he tried to take that type of bravado into the ring. The very first round, he figured out that he was not in the same area code as Ben, and he's looked to survive. However, the food got brave, and when he got brave, he saw that he could actually land the right hand. He could take that right hand,
yeah.
and he started trying to put that guy Ben in his wheelhouse so he could be effective with his work. Now, I thought he did the very best he could with his skill set. He did. He landed good punches. Ben was in a situation where he had to really pay attention to what was going on, and he was able to take a lot of his punches. I thought the fight came out well. I really enjoyed it. It was good to see a blowout turn into something that we could enjoy. And the positivity that the Brooklyn guy got, the good payday he got, the paydays he will get because he went to distance
Oh,
with Ben. Great opportunity for him.
listen, you're talking about Peter Dobson. For those of you,
Yes,
and he's talking about Peter Dobson, and yeah, Peter Dobson was, he was a game player, man, and he, in the weigh-ins he came in, he looked a little bit bigger than Conor Benn, I must say. I felt like, man, that there's a size differential there. What do I not know here? And sure enough, you know, Dobson really delivered. I mean, he did some. He was trading with Conor Benn blow
he
for blow,
was.
and he was landing better, cleaner shots for the majority of the fight. And I don't, I'm not saying it was a gift, but I'm saying it wasn't a great performance for a highly touted, uh, marquee fighter in Conor Benn. I think that performance, that's an example of you might have won the fight, but you kind of lost.
True, but he still won the fight, as you said. He lost. The scuttlebutt is that he had the heavy punch, heavy punch, heavy punch, and now he's landing these clean punches that he's known for, and no one's going anywhere. So that opens a whole nother narrative. But I'm saying that I thought his skills were there. I just thought Dobson was able to take the work.
He's fighting. I mean, if you look at some of the weigh-in shots, or you go back and watch the weigh-ins, the live weigh-ins, um, you'll notice for yourselves that Dobson looks like in a different weight class. So that had to play a role in Conor Benn landing shots and not being able to get him out of there, because come way after weigh-ins, after a couple of hot dogs or whatever you're eating, you know
Steak and potatoes.
yeah, whatever you're eating, you coming back and you're twice the size, and you're looking across the ring and you go, "Where's my opponent? Who's that guy over there? That's not the guy I'm supposed to be fighting." So yeah, I mean, hey, what can you say? Conor Benn did not perform the way he should have. He got hit with a lot of nonsense.
He
I
did.
mean, he's fighting with his left hand down. He's got no shields. he's got no guard on the left side. He's open for right hands. There's going to be a lot of guys in the division that are going to say, get me that Conor Benn fight. I want Conor Benn. So, maybe that's part of the plan. Who knows? Because prior to that, no one wanted to fight him. But, I don't know. I think it wasn't a good performance for Conor Benn. I was a little bit disappointed. What's the story about? Something else, some other background that you wanted to talk about with Conor.
Oh well, it's just something that was pretty. It's. I don't like to bring up stuff that derogative. He had a little issue with the drug thing back in the day, and it was cleared up and all that. And some people are saying, well, maybe he was juiced earlier when he had the heavy knockouts, and now that he's not, his power doesn't really translate. And to me, that's negative scuttlebutt. But it was, people did speak of that. I didn't see that at all. I didn't see a lack of enhancing drugs. I just saw a bigger man who figured out he could take his punch, and he came to him. And I thought Conor was still effective. He still had his technique. He still landed the punches, and he just didn't move, as you say, the bigger man.
Yeah. No, I don't think there's any juicing involved in it. I think it really is a matter of a bigger guy just facing a bigger, more skillful than he had anticipated guy. They tried, whoever the matchmaker was for the fight, I don't think they matched it correctly, and I think it showed in the performance. Or maybe it was just a thing. He had to fight this guy, and the guy was like the Loch Ness monster because he was hitting him with everything. He was hitting him with body shots. He was hitting him with overhand rights. I mean, a lot of right hands were landing that should not be landing. So
on a fight of that caliber, yes, I agree.
Well, look, it's boxing, right? I'm just saying, as a trainer and as a coach, there's certain things that the guy's doing. I don't know why he's getting hit with the stuff he's getting hit with. I don't think it bodes well for the way that they prepared for the fight, and maybe they should go back and take a look at the film and figure out how they're going to want to go forward with the next camp, because it's not, and I'm sure Eddie Hearn will agree. Eddie Hearn's not going to sit there and say, look, that was a good performance for my guy, because it wasn't. And that's just what it is.
But what about just taking it lightly? He just wasn't serious about the situation, and then took it lightly, thinking he could walk over this club guy, and it didn't come out the way it did.
I don't think I think he was taking those right hands pretty seriously to me. I mean, he's getting hit with stuff, and I'm sure he's saying, like what's happening to me right now? Like what's going on? I'm sure Conor Benn understood that it wasn't working out that the other night, and
and he was unloading too. He was unloading his stuff. He was unloading it, and it wasn't like shaking anybody, and that's big. Discouraging, I would believe.
Well, Dobson was too big, too thick, too big, too thick, taller. I don't think it was a good look, and they should reevaluate.
Well, just like you said, the other boys are like, oh, I want to eat that. So maybe we'll get a couple of good fights out of that, just because he looked vulnerable. You know how that works.
No, I think he's going to get a lot of. I'll tell you what, he's going to get a lot of play. There's going to be a lot of guys that'll be like, yeah, bring it, bring him. I'll fight him. Bring him over here, So, speaking of a lot of play.
Yeah.
Harold.
What?
Jermaine Ortiz versus Teofimo Lopez, man. What do you think?
The modesty and the maturity that Lopez has been displaying with his interviews and podcasts and sound bites show that he is ready to move into that that superstar echelon. He is not dismissive of his opponent at all. He usually is. He usually goes in on him, all that. He knows that he's better, and he's going to get a chance to prove that. And with his new understanding, he was talking about he got his kid in with him. He gets to see his kid on a regular basis, and the kid looks at him as my father's a superhero and this, that, and the other, and that just kind of grounded him. So, I listened to a couple of interviews. I was really impressed because he's completely switched narratively than he was before. So I like him to really do it because I think mentally he's on point.
Right.
And he's got his spot back. Super Bowl spot back. Thursday night. The whole world's going to be watching. Yeah. There's no other boxing in the world. His last performance was on point. Man.
Yo, I don't even. Okay, so Harold. You know what it is for me. Right.
That's your boy. That's your boy.
I'm gonna keep a little low key on this one until you ask me a question. I'm gonna let you lead this one because I'm not going down that rabbit hole again. Everybody thinking, oh yeah, you just no. I mean, look.
Look at you.
Well prepared. He's well prepared for this guy, Jermaine Ortiz, and Jermaine Ortiz is a game fighter. He's coming to fight. He's coming to win. He's not laying down.
No.
Ortiz is vowing to knock him out. He's going to knock Teofimo out. Hey, them is fighting words, and I think that I don't know. I think that
we're going to see a performance, a beautiful performance, just like we saw last time when he beat that boy overseas. Yeah. We're going to see that type of beautiful, just iconic performance against a guy that would beat everybody else mentally, physically. But we're going to see just a beautiful performance, I believe.
It's on, Harold. Yeah, I mean, I think it is going to be a beautiful performance. I think both guys are going to give it their all. You definitely want to tune in for this fight.
Yes, Thursday.
I did reach out to the team and I did ask them if they wanted to come on tonight, and I didn't get a reply back because you know why? I mean, this fight is it is
3 days away.
It's Monday, so yeah, they're fighting on Thursday, so they probably have taken all cell phones and throw them in a bag. I'm sure they're not even thinking about any media exposure. They don't need it. All they need to do is win this fight. So that's how they are. That's what's happening. And, I wouldn't be surprised, if you don't see Teofimo until the weigh-ins. You probably won't get any interviews, anything from him until the weigh-ins. And the fight is actually happening on Thursday night, February 8th.
Yes.
And I believe it's for the WBO. Yeah, it is for I'm reading it right here. It's for the WBO lightweight welterweight title on ESPN, and it's at the Michelob Ultra Arena it's in Las Vegas, Harold. We should go. I can't go, man. I can't go. I got other stuff going on, but I would love to be there. I would love to be there for the team and for the fight, and yeah.
If they invite you, I'm sure you'll make a way. I'm sure.
No, even if they invite me, I'm not going, bro. I can't go. I can't. The only way is if they jet me out. They're not doing that, but that's a dream, right? They jet me out. I watch the fight and I come back the same night is the only way. And I'm not. It's too far, man. Las Vegas is a long trip from up here in the East Coast. It's a long.
Agreed.
You gotta stop.
But you'll see him again because he should be victorious. Nothing against his opponent, but he should be victorious. I think he's on the cusp. He's 26 years old now, and he's on the cusp of his greatness. And mentally, he just seems like he's ready to go.
So am I hearing in your voice that what you're really saying, Mr. Harold Hunt, is that you're voting for Teofimo Lopez here? Wow.
And I love his opponent. He's excellent. I would go with his opponent on almost anyone else. Ronnie Shields is training him. He's mentally ready. His time has come. It's just that you run across. This guy was taught from the internet by his father initially, who didn't have any boxing background. So therefore, his true talent that God gave him has just been honed to the point where even though other fighters have been trained and come up the right way, or however you want to say, He just has this other thing, and this other thing going to come to it's going to come to light.
So Harold, since 2020, when he fought Vasily Lomachenko, he's kind of had like a complicated career. Like it's kind of gone up and down. He's gone through some trials and tribulations, and so fans are not sure what they're gonna get come Thursday night, February 8th. They're not sure what version of Teofimo that they're gonna get. But I will tell you, from the lead ups and all the stuff that's gone out, he looks like he's focused. And you commented on this before we actually got on the podcast about the poise and kind of like the rhetoric that Teofimo is speaking, and how like there is like something about the way that he's promoting this fight that seems to be different from any of the previous fights he's had and had the opportunity to promote. So what were your thoughts about that? Tell me.
Well, as I said before, he just seems like he's really on point with what he wants to do and how he wants to do it. I just think we have a chance to look at an iconic fighter, but we have a great benchmark. We have the Lomachenko benchmark,
right?
And then we have the very last fight, which is another huge benchmark in his career. And most people would probably think he's going to continue that type of work just because he showed it to us previously. When you get kind of tied up in your life and your first big money and and relationships, whether that be with your father or his girlfriend or his wife and all that kind of thing, once that's all kind of settles out, then you see what you need to see. And I think he sees that. But I thought he saw that in his last fight when he went over the water and took that boy out amongst a really hostile situation, as far as boxing is concerned, and he really fought well. So I just think this is a continuance.
Right.
I'm looking forward to it. It's just that he is so gifted naturally to see and do things and that are not necessarily orthodox. I would think, from my standpoint, he's just talented above most fighters.
So these guys faced one another in the amateurs, right?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, it was even situation, but you're at another level now, and both of them are excellent fighters. I just see one really achieving the discipline. I'm not the discipline, just the natural ability. That's what I see.
Yeah.
I can't see. There's not much you can put a feather between the two, a piece of paper between the two, but that one little inch is just so much in that. His work is just great, but amateur, you know how amateur is. You're not even developed yet. You don't have your mental capacity as you would, and whoever has a mental, the mental edge because they won or they lost in the amateurs, I don't really think that really carries anything. Maybe the media would like it, but between the two, they know they're complete different fighters.
It does. Well, yeah. I kind of have a little bit of a different take on that. I think
it
does matter. Harold, I think it matters psychologically.
Yeah.
Folks, when you have two fighters that have had storied amateur careers, and they both have faced one another once or twice in the amateurs, especially if it was toward the end of their amateur careers, and then the fighters go into the pro ranks and they start to switch their styles and they start to adjust. There's a notion about that okay, now I got power, now I'm a different fighter. But what you don't realize is that some fighters don't really change that much from the way they were in the amateurs, other than sitting down on punches. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm saying that there's a mindset, right? I beat him in the amateurs, therefore I'm going to beat him in the pros. Or I lost in the amateurs, but I'm better than that now, and I can beat him in the pros, right? Whatever the conversation is in your own mind, the fact remains is they know each other. They know each other's rhythm and timing and how they navigate around the ring. And I think that does matter. It does matter psychologically. And it also can matter in terms of, your ability to take chances that you maybe wouldn't take against a fighter you've never faced before, right? There's something about that. I don't know.
The latter thing you said about I lost to him then, but I'm a better fighter now. I think that's the narrative that they both will embrace, because the other saying I beat him and I beat him then, I can beat him now. To me, that's not really logical. It's not, because they're complete different fighters. But the narrative, as you said, the latter, I agree with that. You beat me then, I know I can beat him now because I'm a better fighter, and that's what they may both take into the situation. Because didn't they split or something like that? What was it? Didn't they split?
Yeah.
They split. They split wins. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So no, I mean, listen. I can't wait to see that fight. Are you tuning in on Thursday?
Oh yes,
No, you're gonna be there.
Oh, am I? Oh, okay.
Are you gonna be there or no?
Well, Thursday, if I could swing it with my situation, I would do so. But if I don't, I'll be having a quasi fight party on a Thursday. So that's going to be interesting, just to see if some of the people I've talked to and who we watched the fight, who's going to work the next day. But I look forward to that. It's Super Bowl week, if you will. So, and this is the beginning of it, and we get to see just a fabulous talent.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. Let me see if we got anybody on the horn in here. I think, let's see. I just got a message from a fighter who, I don't know if he wanted to jump on or what he was doing. Okay. Yeah, man. Hey, listen, we had Jonathan Rodriguez on the podcast last
We did a champion.
Yeah, champion. And actually, I just wanted to shout him out right now. Shout out Jonathan Rodriguez and the team in Bethlehem, Allentown area at Indios Boxing. That's my brother there, and we got a big fight. Jonathan is going to be fighting this guy, Antonio Vargas, on the Zone on February 24th. Tune in; you won't want to miss it. It's a title eliminator, and it's a big deal, and it's a big fight. Jonathan is currently the WBA champion, and so this is going to help him if he gets this win. Actually, not if. Us at the Boxing Breakdown are hoping that he will get the victory. We understand he's fighting an opponent. No disrespect, Antonio Vargas, but it's going to be a nice little war, and you will not want to miss that. Thank you, Eddie Hearn, for putting that together, and I'm excited for him and excited for the fight. And February 24th is coming right around the corner here, so. We got a couple more weeks. He's got a couple more weeks of training, and yeah, it's exciting.
The shameless plug, boy.
Yeah, we gotta plug our boys. You know that. We gotta plug our boys. We gotta help out guys. You know that. So yeah.
But that's great. That's great. So he just continued to move forward. He was very candid and open in his last time with us, and I enjoyed it. I'm sure the fans did also.
Yeah, I can't wait to have him back after he wins. Won't that be great?
That'd be great to see what his strategy was and how he stuck to it. So what's left, Mark, on our docket, sir?
I think we hit it all, bro.
Did we? Oh,
yeah. And guys, if you tuned in the podcast and you like what you saw, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, and please hit those notification buttons there so when we go live, and you can jump on with us. Leave your comments. Hopefully you've enjoyed listening to us chat about boxing. We love boxing. We talk about it all the time, and Harold is relentless. We gotta do another one, man. We gotta hit this. We gotta hit this, and I love it. It's so great. We're excited that we can bring another episode of the boxing.
Yes, we are.
To you.
Thanks to you, Mark. We're doing it, man. We're doing it. So coming up here next week, we're gonna have the Lopez fight, of course, and maybe Mark, you can get Daddy on the horn after the fight, because what he's gonna say is, "I told everybody." That's his thing. I told everybody. So, Mark, we've had him on the show several times before. You lock him down after this win.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Harold. Listen, God bless. Thank you for listening in on the Boxing Breakdown. We'll see you on the next episode. Peace and love. See
Peace
y'all
out.
on the next episode. Thanks, Harold.
All right, thank you.
Fight fans, join host Mark Roxy and special guests as they break down all aspects of the boxing world, including news, business, management, training, promotions, fan reactions, upcoming events, matchups, future boxing stars, title fights, state of the boxing world, and all the stuff you don't see when you watch boxing. This podcast is released each week on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Live streamed on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook Live. It's the Boxing Breakdown, hosted by Mark Roxy.